is Chandra Leah, and I know you guys are probably wondering why do I have this blanket on, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this week has been a little kind of complicated because it's like the last week at my job, and I just haven't had time to really like focus a lot on my content. So don't worry, because next week I have a little bit more free time and everything will be like on a better schedule and everything. But I had this blanket on because I'm not a fan of my outfit underneath, and I just really did not feel like getting dressed up and doing a video, honestly. But I still have to make content. So I just got this blanket on because I still want to make it cozy, you know, kind of fun. And who cares, you know? If you care, stop watching right now. If you don't, keep watching. But basically, if you guys been following along, this journey of this week is called Freestyle Fashion Week. So what I've been trying to do is basically combine each like fashion look that I've been talking about. So, you know, I did basic fashion, I did thrifted fashion, I did graphic tee fashion, I also did like preppy fashion. I think those are like the last 5 I've done. And what I did this week was take all 5 of those and create Freestyle Fashion Week, where a lot of the outfit inspirations I have like, you know, been showing or plan to show later on in the week are inspired by, you know, the previous weeks. And it's been pretty fun. So this video, I'm going to always keep it short, cute, and sweet. But it's just about talking a little bit about fashion and how I got into fashion, how you can get into fashion, and just a little bit like brands that you should be like paying attention to right now. And, you know, some are black owned brands, some are just like, you know, fast fashion brands, some are sustainable brands. So we're just going to hop right into it. So I got into fashion, I want to say, around my college time. So I just graduated college in December 2021. So I got to college in around August, September 2018, I mean, not September, whatever I say. I got into college around August 2018. And when I got to college around then, I didn't have really a sense of style. I feel like I was trying to develop my style, but I didn't really have a sense of style because I went to high school. I went to low-key all schools throughout my, you know, grade school years where I had to wear a uniform. So I didn't really have a sense of style. I didn't know, you know, what was my style. What was I going to go for? Was I like into preppy fashion? Was I into just wearing jeans and tees? Like, what was going on? I was kind of all over the place. But I really got a chance to kind of develop my style once, like, every day I had to, like, pick an outfit to wear. My freshman year of college, I was not fashionable. I was literally just wearing, like, leggings and t-shirts and crew necks on coffee and hoodies and just, like, athleisure. So I went to PWI. If you've been to a PWI, then you'll know that the kids are not dressing up. Like, they're dressing pretty plain. And also just say, like, forget it, I'ma dress plain too, because, like, why are we getting all dressed up for class? But honestly, I became a Pinterest girl. I was always pinning like fashion inspirational looks. I became like, you know, really into like the movie Clueless. I started looking at so many just like 2090s movies, and I fell in love with the fashion. Like, I feel like I always was a fashion girly. Like, of course, on the weekends, I would try to experiment with my outfits. And, you know, I went to sewing classes because I really wanted to become a fashion designer. That was the goal. But, you know, life doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes you have to, you know, pick the more, you know, I don't say the more practical job. But it kind of just came down to, like, what more I was, like, interested in and what, you know, I saw myself making the most money in. But now I see life completely different than how I was in high school and things like that. But I really was just like, it's time for me to develop my style. So I started going thrift shopping because beforehand, my grandma was a big thrift shopper before it was popular. And it was hard to thrift shop because back then, a lot of people, it wasn't as popular as it was today. And a lot of people looked down on you, I felt like, if you did, because they'd be like, oh, why are you wearing secondhand stuff? But now it's trendy, you know. Of course, everything is cool. Everything is lame until the masses do it. You know, it was one of those type of things. So that was kind of hard to like adapt to. But now it's trendy. Everyone wants to thrift shop. So after thrift shopping, I was able to like play around with different outfits. I started wearing outfits that was inspired by Clueless. I started, you know, watching Mean Girls. I started just looking at a lot of just fashion inspirations, and I fell in love with vintage fashion. When I first really like got into fashion, I was wearing a lot of Nike windbreakers because that's what a lot of thrift shops was selling, and I just love the look of them. I love the retro look. I fell in love with berets because of Clueless. I fell in love with different pieces of fashion, and I think that's what helped me like get into it. And as I progressed and I got older, I started learning more about brands. Like, that's one thing I started to do, was research the brands that, you know, were popular, you know, Gucci, Chanel, you know, Louis Vuitton, like all of those brands. I just started to research them, and I started to look at their history, and I started to learn, like, okay, who are the creative directors? I started looking at their, you know, runway shows. I started really learning more about fashion so I could understand, you know, what was going on in the industry on my own time, because by trade, I guess you would say, I'm a journalist, and I was doing something completely different, but I wanted to become like a fashion journalist, and I still do want to become one of them. I'm just doing, I guess you say, another route of it, and it's been a journey. I definitely say, like, getting to fashion, it's not easy. Right now, I'm on this I'm trying to become a little bit more sustainable, because at one point in college, I was a Shein girl, because that's all I could afford, you know. Shein was cheap, Shein was accessible, you know. And it like, literally, that's all I could have really afford in college. I could afford, like, pieces at H&M and things like that, but Shein just became, like, really handy for me. And, you know, I would buy, like, mini skirts. I found out that I love mini skirts. I would get some of my berets from there, and I would really just, like, play around with the different outfits, and I would, you know, mix it with the vintage clothing that I got from, like, the thrift store. And I think that's how I kind of, like, developed my, you know, personal style. I don't know what exactly is my style now. I know I wear a lot of preppy fashion and things like that, but I definitely just started, like, experimenting with different looks, just seeing, like, what was working for me, and researching the brands. Like, that was the biggest thing that I really tried to focus on, was, like, learning what brands I want to wear when I can't afford, like, luxury clothing, and knowing which brands I don't want to wear because I don't like what they stand for. And like I said, as I, you know, tried to get on this sustainability journey, I realized that, you know, I no longer want to wear Shein. I don't want to be, like I said a couple of my videos, I don't want to be, I guess you'll say, loose and not sustainable by just, like, getting rid of them and just, like, easily just donating them. But I do still own some pieces of Shein and One Way, and I will continue to wear them until I can't wear them no more, because, like I said, I just don't think it makes sense to get rid of them just or throw them out, because I feel like you're doing more damage, you know, by doing that. I think the best thing you could do is just not overconsume it. And I haven't shopped from them in this year, honestly, and I'm proud of myself for not doing that. I guess I can say as well, I think another thing that helped me with, you know, develop my fashions was that I started working at H&M. H&M was a great time for me. That's my first retail job. I had never worked retail before, and, you know, I was making money. And it was during the pandemic, and I was able to just, like, I was shopping crazy. Like, each check I was probably buying something. I was putting stuff on hold, but I was also able to see how the fashion industry worked in fast fashion, how, you know, what different brands, because, you know, H&M is not an American brand. And I was just able to see, like, how they, you know, did their practices. I noticed that oftentimes they took a lot of, like, you know, fashion, you know, looks from high-end designers. And, you know, they make dupes. And I learned about dupes. You know, it taught me, like, okay, wow, that is so cute, but they stole that from someone else. Like, that's a dupe. And then it's like the dupes of the dupes. And it's crazy. You know, that's one thing I will say about the fashion industry. Like, I know I'm not in it heavy. I'm more so, I guess you say, an observer, and I actively participate in fashion. But you start to learn that it's like an endless cycle of everything is just a trend, low-key. And a lot of people are copying each other, especially in this world of, like, influencers and fast fashion. Even, like, high-end designers are starting to, like, copy each other. I don't know if you guys, like, pay attention to, like, runway shows and things like that, but New York Fashion Week, a lot of designers were doing the black tie look, and it got repetitive. It was like, oh my gosh, everyone's doing this, you know. And I do think that a lot of, like, high-end brands are kind of losing, like, their purpose, their strength, because they're trying to just follow trends. And get me wrong, like, not all trends are bad, but I do believe, like, in fashion, you just have to, like, come to this understanding, like, okay, are you going to do, like, trends, or are you just going to be, like, someone that sets their own trends? And it's hard to set your own trends because there's so much being thrown at you. There's so much to see. There's so much to, you know, get into. But I think my 5 steps, and I wrote them down because I did not want to forget them, but I think my 5 steps in fashion is, I'm going to go find them. My friend texted me. Hold on. Let me go find them. Because I did a blog post. I'm going to, you know, put the blog down in the description box so you guys can go, like, read it. Because I don't want to go too much in depth. Because you guys know, 1, I don't want to edit a super long video. And 2, I know you guys probably don't want to watch a super long video, just me talking, because that's boring. But I'm going to show you, or read to you guys, and just explain a little bit about my 5 tips of how to get into fashion, especially in 2023. I was about to say 2021. It's not 2021. Why is this not working? I hate when technology like not works and it's like low-key embarrassing. Like, this is embarrassing right now. If I'm not gonna hold you up, like, do better, phone. Please do better. I'm trying not to like take too much of y'all time neither. Okay, so my first step is knowing who is leading the industry, meaning know which brands are popping. At one point I felt like I said, Chanel, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton were really like, running the industry. But now you have brands like Diesel. Diesel has brought denim back for sure. Like, denim is in. And some ways that you can stay like up to date with different brands is like follow their social medias. I subscribe to a lot of different fashion magazines like Vogue, Fashionista, things like that. But the business of fashion, it's like a little bit more on the technical side, I feel like, of fashion, and the business side of it. So they offer a fashion newsletter, and it provides you with a lot of like just updates, like what's going on in the industry. It tells you like which creative directors are leaving, which ones are coming in. So if you really want to get into fashion, like high-end fashion, I really suggest doing the business of fashion like newsletter. And my second tip is find ways to be sustainable, because honestly, the world, if you believe in climate change, then you know that we all have to kind of like make our stance in it. We have to kind of say, okay, we're not going to do this, we're going to do it this way. You have to be sustainable in some way. That's very important. And you have to understand where you're shopping at. That's why I said that when it comes to places like Shein and H&M and fast fashion, I think the biggest thing is just don't overconsume it. I think that's what a lot of people are pushing. Like, just don't overconsume it, because that is when you create like that issue. And then you got the people that say, oh, once I post a picture in it, I'm not gonna wear it again. That's very dangerous and it's very messy. I feel like you should wear your clothes probably more than once. And get the uses that you can. Buy good denim so that you don't have to keep buying new denim over and over. I feel like one good pair of expensive jeans is better than 5 pairs of expensive jeans. And I think my third tip is just like develop a personal style. I think develop a personal style is not easy. It comes with time, effort, and money. I started off at the thrift shop. You don't have to start there. If you have the money, go start at Zara, start at Gucci. I don't know, go where you can afford, of course, but mix the different styles together. And like I said, Pinterest boards helped me. Pinterest boards was like my #1 key to just like creating that mood board of fashion from different decades, and getting inspired. Sometimes I notice now a lot of people on like Instagram and stuff, when they do their reels and things, they say this look was inspired by this Pinterest board or this Pinterest look. And it's pretty fun to see those different fashion styles and see how you can make it different and combine them. So my fourth tip is research fashion archives. So that goes back to Pinterest. Pinterest is, they have so many pins and you can do so many different boards, but they also have a lot of research about fashion on there. They have, runway shows from Chanel Fall Collection 1990. They have so many just different pictures and information on there. You just have to do your research, and you have to, really look and dive deep into it. And you can find articles. Vogue has, I think, Vogue Runway. They show you runway shows from many designer houses dating back, I'm telling you guys, from the 90s. And that's where a lot of like the Pinterest boards get their pictures from. And I definitely think the importance of getting into fashion is just like knowing who's leading it, and that's going back to that, and knowing the history of it, and knowing what makes up fashion, who makes up fashion. And my last tip is that you have to actively participate in fashion. And I mean that, like, to be a fashion person, you have to know what's going on. You have to follow fashion blogs, because it's like, how are you going to be able to, do fashion, but you don't know nothing about it? And I feel like that goes with anything. Like, how are you going to be able to talk about it, do anything about it, and you don't even actively participate in it? I have friends who are fashion designers, who are into fashion, who are into shopping, and I follow other fashion influencers who are into fashion. They post different, right now, the resort shows are big right now. So, Versace Resort 2024 just came out. I follow Twitter blogs that are fashion. Not Twitter blogs. I follow Twitter pages that are like fashion blogs. So they post, the resort shows. I just saw Versace. I loved it. It was beautiful. Dua Lipa is a really big part of that. I think she's like one of their like campaign models or such. And you just have to get actively in it, because it's like, if you want to become one. I feel like that's what it is. If you want to become a fashion girl, you just have to get in it. You have to understand it. You have to, I don't say you have to live, breathe, and all of that, sleep it, but you just have to get a little active in it, you know? You have to do work in it. I go to local fashion shows in my city to see what designers are, you know, popping, you know, because you never know. And also as well, I go to like different fashion events here. You know, my city is not a fashion city, but I do believe that it is, you know, becoming one. So you just have to, like, you know, pay attention to what's going on in the fashion world and, you know, start following blogs and things that are into it. Michigan Fashion Week starts June 12th with different events, you know, with just networking opportunities with fashion, you know, designers, creatives, like buyers and all of that in Metro Detroit. It starts June 12th, you know, with different events and things. And then the fashion shows are June 15th and the 16th. So I'm going to like put their link and everything in my bio or in my description, I guess you would say. So you guys can, like, if you are interested in fashion in Metro Detroit, you know, you get a chance to go to a fashion show as such. And I will say just also as well, you know, some designers that are, you know, Metro Detroit designers or Detroit designers you guys should check out is Hossa Sai. I just posted a picture of like me wearing one of their bags. People loved it. They was like, it's just like so cute because it was cute. I looked cute, okay? And they just released their Hossa Sai door knockers. It's these earrings. And I guess I'll show you guys my outfit I had on with my Hossa Sai bag. It's my first time like wearing it. Like I did wear it to a fashion show, but this is my first time like actually like styling it. I looked pretty cute, I will say that. But Hossa Sai is a Detroit brand created by a woman in Detroit, and it's pretty dope. They have good prices. And then of course I have to do my girlies, the Glamaholic. They do a lot of like monogram bags and things like that. They're really like known for their bucket bag. They just released like this blue color, and then ooh, the page is like moving so much. And then they also, I'm obsessed with this bag. I think this is the one I want. This is their like their flat bag. It's so cute. Like I think I want it, and it comes in like so many different sizes. And then of course, you know, if you guys want some other black owned brands, Telfar is my people's. I love Telfar. They are, look, they're releasing so many of like their duffel bags. They're a little pricey, but I'm obsessed with them. Like they're super cute. And then of course I have to do Brandon Blackwood. He just released a swimwear collection. It was very like random, but it was so interesting. Oh my god, y'all, look, Beyonce is wearing, she's wearing his gown, she's wearing a custom brand. Oh my god, Beyonce on her Renaissance tour is wearing a custom Brandon Blackwood look, gown, gloves, and heels. I didn't even know she had like she like shouted like oh my god. What I'm trying to say is I did not realize that she was wearing their outfits. But also too, I've been like avoiding Beyonce like Renaissance stuff, but that is like too cute. But I'm trying to find his swimsuit stuff. I can't find it because I know he released it. But these are some of his bags. Yeah. So he has his like summer collection coming out and things like that. I think this is it. Is this it? Yeah, here you go right here, guys. You can't really see it, but go to his Instagram and check it out if you want to. So those are just some brands that I have like really been focusing on. And I only own the Hossa Sai bag and a Telfar bag. But I did buy my mom a Glamaholic bag. I need to get me a Glamaholic bag. I also need to get me some like black owned sunglasses and things like that, and shop more black owned apparel brands as well. So if you guys know of any good like black owned apparel brands, you know, that kind of make fashion that I wear, definitely link them in the comments or hit me up on Instagram and DM me their accounts and stuff, because I definitely want to support more black owned businesses, because I feel like I'm a black owned business myself. If you guys know, you know. My camera was like, oh, you did too much. But I hope that you guys like learned something from this video. I hope you take something from this video. And once again, you know, getting into fashion is not easy, but it's not hard, you know. There's so many different careers in it. You could be a stylist, you could be a buyer, you could be, you know, fashion designer, you could be a fashion journalist, you could be a fashion photographer. You could do so much with it. So never limit yourself. If you want to get into fashion, start today. Start going on Pinterest, create mood boards, look up your favorite designers, or just search different designers, because a lot of sites nowadays, they have like directories where you can go like type in what are the top 10 like black owned brands, what are the top 10 streetwear brands, what are the top 10 brands trending right now. You can find out this information. It just starts with you. So like I said, guys, I'm super excited for this week. I hope that you guys have been enjoying my content, and stay tuned because my podcast drops tomorrow. Bye, guys.